through and like getting from point A to point better. I mean, any of that is obviously a message for people. Hello, YouTube is up and running. So we'll see what Facebook's doing here as the wheel is spinning on that. And all right, so everybody's up and running. All right. Well, hey, how's it going, peeps? It's the lunchtime issue of Real Talk with Keith motherfucking Walker. And if you're here, you're one of the luckiest people on the planet. So you're welcome. And thanks for joining. And we're just going to jump right into it because we are up and running. So if you guys have been following of late, you've seen I've done a couple interviews, and it's a handful of people that are affiliated with a very cool organization, the Taylor Foundation. Look it up. And so there's another player in the mix, and hopefully he's got some good information and stories for us. And before I turn it over, James Niggemeyer is in the house, and he's going to be hanging out in several places, doing several things. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. James, if you want to just pop in and introduce, and we'll get acquainted and all that good stuff. But thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Hello, everybody. Officer James Niggemeyer here, hanging with Keith motherfucking Walker today.
Right on. All right. So why are we here?
Well, we are here because I am helping host a fundraiser for the Taylor Foundation. I have, as I've been told, come out of obscurity, out of my hiding shell, because it's something that I feel can be helpful to others. So I am donating everything in my music collection, and we'll get to how I got that.
Okay.
But the Reader's Digest version is everything that I have in my music collection I've collected over the last 20 years is all going up for auction, and all the proceeds will go to the Taylor Foundation so that they may use that as appropriate to help people that need the assistance that so many people do.
Okay. So let me pick your brain a little bit. I don't want to get you off track if you have one, because it was brought up. Mary talked about a couple things the other day. So what do you got? Like, what's the swag package look like? If you don't mind sharing a few choice items, just so we're paying attention.
A few choice items. You're going to have to be there to see it all, of course. And for those of you who, and it's not just my items, but we'll get into that. But there's also been items that have been donated from the Taylor Foundation or to the Taylor Foundation. Jessica Waters, who you had on the other day, has been so instrumental in collecting artwork, photography, things of that from vets. They have a story to tell, and they express it through an art form of some kind. But so it's certainly not just my stuff. But been very fortunate to meet a lot of really cool musicians over the years. Got to hang out with Chris Cornell, and I've got an autograph poster of him that he signed in person for me. Got autograph stuff from Ted Nugent, from Disturbed, from Zach and Black Label Society, Zach Wild. So there'll be autograph pieces. I know a lot of people collect lanyards. I've got some really cool lanyards and some really cool Ozfest ones from different places I've been. People collect ticket stubs. I, at some point, saved a lot of those. We've got those to go with passes, VIP passes that I was given along the way. Really cool stuff. I have one of the pieces I will highlight today is I have an actual ticket from December 8th, 2004 from the Alrosa Villa. Some research has been done on that. There's only been one known ticket sold, and it was a used ticket within the last year. There's only 2 we could find available for sale, so these are really hard to come by. Obviously, it's a piece that people don't want to give up. It's a piece of history, and there weren't as many people at that show as people thought. There were less than 400 tickets sold for that show, so there's not many out there. I have one given to me by the owner of the Irosa. It will be going up, and I know that will be a hot commodity for a collector. Along with some vet-inspired art that I've seen, really exciting to share their stories. And you know, this is to support PTSD and mental health as a whole umbrella. And some of their stories are really powerful. And so this is about awareness. This show is about awareness as well. It is a fundraiser, but there's also going to be a lot of awareness part of this show.
Sure.
So really looking forward to it.
Right on. Well, wow, you got some stuff going on there. And I also heard a rumor there's like an autographed copy of this book here that's going to be up for auction. So make sure you go check that out, people. Sorry, shameless plug.
No. Just so your listeners know, you were gracious to send me a couple copies, one for me, one to auction. I actually truly did. I have started reading it.
Wow.
So far,
cool.
It's been a very good read. I'll probably have it finished by this weekend because I do love reading about this, and everything that you can read or study or listen on, no matter where you're at in your journey, can always help. I like to say it's another tool in your toolbox. You may have 50 tools in there, but you can always use it 51st. And yes, so Keith's book, I have an autographed copy of that with a no fucks given coin, and that will be going up for auction as well. You are correct.
Right on. Okay. Well, yeah, more fun than should be allowed by state law. So anyway, I appreciate that. And again, appreciate the opportunity to participate. This is, again, I'm certainly not the expert. I am just getting pulled in at the wheelhouse here over the last couple weeks. So again, all the proceeds for this are going to the Taylor Foundation. And I got more stories coming up on that one too. But let me ask you this, just cause, and if I missed a note, I apologize. But hey, have you been active with the Taylor Foundation for a period of time, or is this like a brand new thing?
No, this is a brand new thing.
Okay.
I have done a very good job, I think, of staying in the shadows and staying hidden for years.
Okay.
And the point of that is, you know, if you go into acting or you want to become a rock star, there's a stardom that comes with that. You know it when you get into it. Mm-hmm. When you're in law enforcement, you don't want that. The less people know about you, the better, because you're a cop. And let's just say that there's people on both sides of the fence. So for those who aren't aware, or most listening probably are, December 8th, 2004, Dimebag Darrell and several others, unfortunately, Nathan Bray, Aaron Hawk, and Jeff Thompson, were all victims to a gunman. And I was lucky, fortunate enough, or skilled, whatever you want to call it, enough to stop the incident. But because of who Darrell Abbott was, he's known worldwide from Pantera, it became a national news story, a worldwide news story. Yeah, and definitely. With that, of course, the curiosity is, well, who ended it? And so I got drug into this media, this spotlight that I certainly didn't sign up for. Right. So it's different for those who are in the industry. They know it comes with it. Not something that I wanted. I'm a country boy from Ohio, and I love being a country boy from Ohio, right. So it was very overwhelming. So to answer your question, no. When I had this idea and we got it started, it was Jessica Waters who had a connection with Mary and reached out to them on my behalf, and we got this started rolling about 4 months ago. Just for you to know, this has been 4 months in the works. This doesn't happen overnight, so there's been a lot of work put into this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's and not to overshare, but I just because I really appreciate it. Now I'll just share this with you guys. I'm just meeting James myself. Like we had a phone conversation in the last couple weeks and got acquainted and he's here today because he's just fucking a kick-ass human and a brilliant story. I but what I really appreciated was as you described some of the depth of like you're a rock star, but you didn't fucking want to be one or get there this way. Like it's not a cool way to be popular and it is it's so interesting because I look at it and I look at the perspective of all of us, right? And but you're like you are on the other side of that coin of the experience, if that makes sense. And just hearing it from you, I mean, I really appreciated that share. And again, that's why I'm just kind of like hanging out back here again because I don't know what can I say as a therapist by trade or whatever. I'm not down with like opening cans of worms, bringing things raw, and then leaving people hanging. Like that's not cool and not good. So again, anything that you're sharing here with us, we appreciate. Um, so, but just kind of following up on what you shared. Um, so, instant rock star didn't really want that. Obviously, everything else that goes with that, and then just kind of going back to Ohio and what making hay bales and shit, right? And so, but here popping out. So, I guess the question I have there is like, why now?
Yep. So I'll give everyone a quick timeline. So after this incident happened, we often, as we titled this, and it was, Mary, Jessica, we all came together on different ways to title this event, and it's titled Beyond the Battle, Unite Against the Silence. And there's a dual purpose to that. So first of all, beyond the battle. So when any incident happens, it could be my incident or a car wreck or anything else, right? So everybody sees the incident and then they don't see what happens afterwards. That's right. The beyond the battle. So they don't see that battle that happens after the cameras go away and the lights go off.
Sure.
So a lot of people reached out to me through the police department. So I got a lot of fan mail, which was very appreciative, and musicians were reaching out, tour managers, musicians, hey, we'd love to have you as a guest. We're going to be in Ohio at this location. So as time went on, a lot of people said some really nice things like, hey, we just really want to thank you. Love to have you as a guest. I would go out and meet a lot of these bands, and very fortunate to meet them. They were all extremely gracious, extremely kind, and anytime I would go somewhere, they would, certainly, oh, we want to give you an autographed picture, or we want to give you some guitar picks, or you pick up swag along the way. And so that's how I got all my swag. Everything was personally signed in front of me or handed to me or given to me. To give you a quick backstory on how I got everything. So it came a point in time where, I got to the point where I started to feel like, okay, I need to get back to reality here. And when I go to these places, I was very good at putting on a persona on the exterior, but on the interior, I just felt like crap. The drive home, when I got home, I wasn't in a good place. And so I kind of got out of that and just kind of got away from there. So all these years go by, fast forward 22 years to where we're at today.
Mm-hmm.
Had to move, due to my father's unfortunate passing, I took the farm back over. And in moving, as anybody's done, you move totes, you move all your stuff. And I'm going through a tote, and lo and behold, there's totes of all this music merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't display this stuff. Graceful to have it, but I didn't display it because it's a reminder of why I got it. And that's a battle that I constantly had to deal with internally.
Right.
So I thought, what do I do with all this stuff? I'm at a point 22 years later where is it a lifetime sentence, or is there an ending to the book, so to speak? So the idea just kind of formed between throwing it away, selling it, or donating it. And I really didn't want to throw it away. I'm not in this for money, so I didn't want to sell it.
Right.
So I thought maybe I could donate it or do something with it for a charity. I think Jessica talked a lot about that, how we met, through the Whatnot platform, which the auction will be on. I happened to be in her stream, just popping through streams, and something about what she was talking about. She was talking about her personal life, as she said, and it just like I told her several times, like a light bulb in my head went off. I'm like, this is a lady who understands. She's battling her own things like I am. She's selling rock T-shirts. She talked about loving the music, and I just thought, could this be someone to help me? I don't have any assistance with this. It's just an idea. So I messaged her, like she said, and she didn't know me from Adam at the time, and I didn't know she'd ever message me back, but she did. And we connected and started talking, and she started telling me her story, and that's how it started with me and Jessica. And she knew Mary, which the Corey Taylor Foundation is a perfect marriage for this, with this music stuff, obviously. Sure. I think she told me she reached her, she messaged Mary, and she got back with her within minutes. It was that fast. So she coordinated a Zoom call between us, and we all got together on a Zoom call, initial introductions. And I'm going to tell you what, those Mary and Jessica jumped in with both feet. They are amazing women.
Yeah.
And, I know for a fact that this wouldn't be as big as it is without their assistance. Sure. And they love the idea, the fact that I wanted to partake in this, and that's what brought me out, was the fact of, can I do something with all this merchandise, give it to somebody who could use it, and is it worth coming out for? And it is. It's worth, if they can help other people with this stuff, it's well worth me coming out for this event. So that's a timeline of how we got to where we are. I know it's a quick timeline, but the long version would take longer than you're on air.
Yeah. Well, I'm not on a timeline, but again, I appreciate, because we could go on for hours, but no, I appreciate that. And that is, that's great coverage. And it is, it's a great story, which, the results are going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure it's just got a great vibe to it. I'm going to ask you a question that I have just, in through the talking and all that. And again, I haven't gone into the details or all that kind of stuff. So, and again, not to over roll the tape back, but that evening, were you a participant or were you a responder?
You're talking about at the venue that night?
Yes.
No, so I was a responder. So I worked third shift.
Okay.
And my shift was 10 to 6. So we had roll call at 10 p.m.
Right.
And we broke roll. I had put my gear and my stuff in my cruiser, and other officers were filtering out. And the district I was assigned to was the farthest away from the precinct, so I had the farthest to go to get to my district, so to speak.
Okay.
So I typically try to take off. I had probably a 15-minute drive to get to my district, where some of the other officers were closer to the precinct. So I had just left the precinct. And I was driving down Morse Road, which connects with Sinclair, which is where the venue was. I had just left the substation, and I was the first officer to leave the substation, and was driving down Morse Road when the call went out. I was probably less than 3 miles from the venue when the call went out. Okay. And so that's how, at that point, I was already heading that direction. Hit the lights and sirens, and hell, I don't know, at the speeds I was driving, I probably got there in less than a minute and a half.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I arrived first, and it's quick. Now other officers, of course I didn't know, but other officers obviously were running to their car and followed. Sure. But by the time I got to the rear of the venue, which is where fans there had led me to, thankfully I couldn't see the front of the venue, so I didn't know where anybody else was at. I was in the rear. The front was quite a ways away, and so yeah, I was back there on my own because they saw my cruiser there, obviously, but they didn't know where I was, and that's because I was already in the back of the venue. And so yeah, it was a responder call.
Okay.
And I had never been in the venue before in my life, so that's always a scary situation because you don't know the layout either.
Right. And yeah, so I do and appreciate the detail on that. I was but I was just getting at if you're like are you a Pantera guy? Like, were you there for some metal? And I guess that's the question is, so now we know how you got rolled into this. I guess my question is, were you a music guy before that? Like, is this your... Yeah.
I've been asked this before, and I'll give the same answer. I, of course, knew of Pantera, but I'm from the country, so I grew up on country.
Okay.
I was not really a metal guy.
Right.
I liked what I call old school rock, so it'd be like AC/DC and Foreigner and the Scorpions and that kind of rock, as opposed to what is different than metal. So know of them, yes. A fan of the metal world, I was not.
Right.
And I'm just being honest.
Sure.
Obviously, since then, I have gained an enormous appreciation and have listened to a lot of metal, listened to a lot of Pantera, and but at the time, no.
Okay. But and even not metal specifically, but I mean, so country was your gig. I mean, were you, I guess, like, what was your engagement before this? I mean, were you a swag collector? Were you a concert goer? Were you a hangouter? Were you just kind of like listen to your music and hang out?
Yeah, more of a listen to your music and hang out.
Okay.
I mean, I had been to a few concerts, swag, so to speak. No. The first concert I ever went to, my dad took me to see Alabama.
Nice. Okay.
He was a big fan of Alabama.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, Juice Newton opened for them. If that brings back some time frame.
Fuck yeah. Oh my God. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that was my first concert, was Alabama. I had probably been to a handful of concerts in my life, but certainly wasn't a priority of mine.
Okay.
If somebody that I really liked came around, but no.
Okay, cool. I was kind of curious as to, I mean, obviously massive life-changing situation, but like throw on top of it the metal blow up and that lifestyle is, I mean, that's a lot to process, right? And
that's
from a
country boy to this was eye-opening.
I can't even imagine. I just cause I'm bored and I like to talk about my shit. Not a huge country guy, but appreciative and grew up with a lot of it. And so, like, I mean, me and Pam, we do a lot of that, have done more and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of made a commitment a while back, again, to not be totally lame, but we would do like one country show a year to go do that. And so, but I would see Alabama, like they were again, not a huge fan, but I know who they are, and they were good, and stuff like that. So, yeah, obviously more of a metalhead in this crew, and but nonetheless, uh, so yeah, the situation, and then the inundated with hero slash rock star, all that, and that went on for a period of time, and then you kind of pulled the reins in on it and went back to baling hay for a while, right? I mean, is that a short?
Not really. Not really. So, I mean, as far as the baling hay side goes, so yeah, I was on the department, for years after this.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, went back to the street, what we call it, back to patrol.
Sure.
Had a real difficult time, obviously, with that. They would put me with other officers. The first encounter, my first day back, this is a story that's out there. Mm-hmm. The officer and I are walking to our car in the parking lot, and a reporter jumps out from behind a dumpster at 10:15 at night. Lucky he didn't get offed, because that's not a smart thing to do, because he just wanted to get to me for a story. So, I go on calls, go on runs. Of course, it was headline news at the time. Everybody recognized my face or my name or whatever, and it was, can we get a picture with you? And so it took a lot away from doing my job, and it made me just a wreck all the time. Was diagnosed, had a lot of troubles with panic attacks and nightmares, all the things associated with that. Didn't have really any assistance outside the department, sending you to see a therapist, which is mandatory when you're involved in something. And therapists are great, but in my opinion, he was good for empathy and writing medicine. He's never been involved in anything, and he couldn't relate. So outside of that, it was all self-healing, which is really difficult to do for all those who have done it or tried to do it. We've come a long ways with the Taylor Foundation and other great organizations out there that they weren't around then.
Right.
So the doctors in diagnosing told the department, they said, look, he cannot be a first responder. He just cannot be a first responder.
Right.
So they moved me into the detective bureau, into the investigative bureau. So investigators obviously aren't first responders. You come to the scene after the scene's over and do the investigating. And I did that for a number of years. And then the story at the end of my career was, things were going pretty good. In a different place in my head, we got a new police chief, and he decided that he wanted more officers on the street and less in the investigative bureau. They did things by seniority, and of course I was low in seniority, and was told I needed to go back to the street. Medical recommendations said, no, you cannot go back to the street, and the police chief basically said, but if you can't go back to the street, you can't be a police officer. So was medically retired because he didn't want to leave me in the investigative bureau. He'd rather lose the officer, and that's a sore subject with me. And it didn't make sense to a lot of people. But life goes on. It is what it is. So,
true.
And so, that was in 2004, and they retired me in 2011. So I was still with the department for 7 years afterwards.
Wow, okay.
So, it wasn't until my father unexpectedly passed away in 2019, right before COVID, when I took the farm back over, that I went back to doing farming.
Okay. And
so the last 7 years.
Yeah, and you've kind of that's been where you've been hanging out, right?
Yeah.
Doing that deal. Okay.
Hanging out away from people, away from the crowds.
Right.
Out in the middle of the boondocks.
Okay. Cool. I mean, uncool but cool, right? But
Yeah,
there's a
as you can
story.
tell, still a sore subject as far as how my career ended, unfortunately.
Oh
But
yeah. Well,
it is what it is, and you just got to move on. Life doesn't slow down for anybody.
this is true, and so yeah, I appreciate that. Your story is obviously appreciated, and we talked a little bit about some of that, and you know this as well as again as you talk about coming back off the farm and joining the ranks. Uh, Not that you're going to go from farmer to therapist overnight and go do that, but I know I appreciate anything that you're willing to share anywhere, right? And I get where you are, definitely your experience with therapy and professional, whatever box we want to call that. And I mean, it has its place and it does a lot of different things for a lot of different people. I'm certainly not going to judge it, and certainly I participate in the field. Um, so a lot of good shit happens there too. But I'll be honest with you, and it's just what you're sharing. Like, I feel like I get and give more therapy right now than I do in somebody's office, if that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, because this
100%.
is, um, and I make the sales pitch all the time. Life is a team sport, and although it's not everything all the time, certainly like the real deep empathy of like I've been in your shoes, I got through it like this, you can too. That there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of power in that, right? And I've been on both, like I said, I've been on both sides of those coins and am grateful that I've been able to do it. Like, because somebody walked the path before me and I was all fucked up and took the steps and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, a lot of the people in my early recovery, shall we say, were not professionals or special or educated or any of that. They had just simply walked the path, got through it, and were compelled to share their story. And so here we are now, and I am going to let's before I keep rambling on, James. I got a couple people have bounced in on some of these chats. So let me just address that really quick. Sonia is grateful for what you're doing, the help it will provide to help others with mental health concerns. So exactly what we're talking about. Hi, Sonia. She's totally metal. She's a badass.
Hey, Sonia, thank you.
Yeah. Pam is lurking out in the living room, but snuck in here as well. That's my better half. And
hi, Miss Pam.
Yeah,
you're a rock star.
She is a fucking rock star. Oh my god! So we keep her around. She wants to know how you're doing now, James.
Well, I like to tell everybody I consider myself about 90%. There's still some triggers out there, but for the most part, I don't think I would have ever done this if I wasn't in a place where I felt I could handle it now.
Sure.
I don't know if there'll ever be an end to the story. Sure. The DVD's always playing in your head, but I'm at a place now where I feel I've healed myself enough to get to the point where is there now the next chapter, can I help heal others? I think that's the page I've turned to, from healing myself to assisting others.
Right.
And I've certainly been in this battle long enough, and I've had enough experience that I know what people are going through, as you do with yours. And as you mentioned earlier, getting back into the spotlight, I am certainly not. I am not going to be the next big spotlight thing, but I am coming out for this event to try to help others and certainly be of assistance any way I can, and hopefully for others, either through the foundation or people that people know, maybe on a one-on-one basis. I'll be open to chatting with people about what they're going through. But yeah, as far as getting back in the public eye, I don't ever see that happening.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, Pam, I hope that was helpful for your question to be answered. No, I think it's an interesting place, and again, I'm kind of one of those guys that tries to really pay attention to the universe and what it's doing and things like that. And I've really gratefully have come to expect, like, the universe does not hate me. So I think it's going to take care of me. And so, in short, like, no coincidences, faith and footwork, whatever you want to call that, like, just keep moving and pay attention to the open doors. And so, like I shared, just and I'm a little bit excited about what's going on right now and what potentially could happen, and am to, at a minimum, be a James fan and spectator, for lack of a better way to put it, even though you're kind of hanging out, like, which I think is great. Like, you don't have to go public and be all that to be helpful. And but yeah, I mean, even that last week when we talked a little bit about some of your reaching out and talking with other people, taking advantage. I don't know what am I getting at. Therapy is a two-way street kind of thing. So, and a lot of the growth that I've had has been in sharing with other people. And then there's it's a two-way street. So as you're at 90%, like 92% will come after you talk to two or three other people that are really fucked up and have not gone your recovery path yet, and you moving along with them. And then how that affects you again is it's as you share your experiences and all that kind of stuff, you hear yourself talking, and it's like, yeah, okay, I'm better, or I got through this, or this is good shit, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
and then you carry that message out. But like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires. I'm very excited, obviously, about what you guys are all putting together this weekend at Incarceration, and hanging out with that and the outreach with that. It is, I mean, you're tied in to a great spot if you want to do that. And you could probably do as much of hanging out with other people as you see fit, because that is, like, Incarceration is a fucking treatment facility for all of us that are fucked up. Like, this is what we do for therapy, right? So you're going to have, I don't know how many thousands, tens of thousands of people there, and a good majority of them have some kind of history. So I mean, there isn't a shortage of people who have struggles. So there you go. And things like this I really appreciate, because again, it's just, life is a team sport, like I said before. So you're going to be at a table, people are going to come up there. I mean, you are probably going to be inundated with questions and thoughts and whatnot. And I know you're prepared for that, but there's going to be opportunities to do some of that hanging out and sharing the healing. So that's cool.
Yeah. On the incarceration, I, of course, talked to Mary. She's amazing about what to expect.
Right.
Been to several festivals. I've been to,
Sure.
Rock on the Ranges and Ozfest and all these. So a festival's not new to me. But
Right.
what is new to me, Keith, is I've never been on the fan side. And by that I mean I've always been there as a guest of somebody.
Sure.
And so I've always been behind the stage.
Okay.
I have never been to a festival on the audience side. I would be behind where nobody could see. The only people back there were the bands and the security and that, and either hanging out on a tour bus or in a dressing room or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you were very isolated and safe, so to speak. Mm-hmm. This will be my first experience at a festival on the other side of the stage.
Okay.
And being incarceration, being in Ohio, and me being from Ohio, it's a little more hometown as far as, what happened as opposed to being on the other side of the country. So Mary's got a lot of things from the foundation and things of this nature, and as opposed to mailing them and trusting our postal system, which we all know is amazing, as a joke, I thought it would be easier to meet up and exchange the things, right, because I'm the one taking the things to this auction.
Okay.
And in that discussions, the offer was made, hey, we're set up here all weekend. Certainly, if you're interested, you're welcome. If not, I understand too. And I thought, it may not be, or it may be an experience that I need. And I'm going to be up there for anybody going. I will be up there Saturday with the Taylor Foundation to come over and say hi. Really appreciate it. So it'll give me an opportunity to see them hands-on, and what they do.
Sure.
Outside of reading it on the website.
Okay.
Of course, I have a little more insight in talking to Mary over the last 4 months, but the hands-on experience is what I'm looking for, to see exactly the inner details of how it affects people. And I'm sure that I'm going to get an eye-opening, and I am preparing myself for that. But I also know that Mary's going to be very protective and shielding, and I may need that, but I have no issues with being there or talking to people and things of that nature. Hopefully, it doesn't take my fear is I don't want me being there to take away from their purpose there.
Right.
Right. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Absolutely. Sure. And I don't think you have anything to worry about with that, because I think there's enough overlap going on, if that makes sense. I don't see any particular overshadowing with that. And again, you're a grown up, so when you've had enough of that, you can let go, break. So and go catch a show like you're there. So go.
Yeah, there's some bands there that I like, and I'm going to take a break and go watch them.
Fuck yes. Okay, cool.
They do that too. So, and I'm going to go over to the prison and do a walkthrough. And
really?
If there's a tattoo artist out there, I may get my next tattoo if there's somebody there that.
Cool.
I don't know any of the tattoo artists there, but if there's any there that does really good detail work, I have a couple ideas in mind. That I will be getting, whether it's there or somewhere else in the future.
Right.
Reach out.
Cool. Okay, good for you. Yeah, ink therapy, obviously, I've had a little bit. as we all have. No, that's wonderful. Hey, and just to throw a shameless plug, if you're ever out in Vegas, Rick Tripp from Trip Inc., you get some work done with Rick. He's a badass. He's done a little bit of work for me, but like he's had 5-finger death punch all in his office, and it's Vegas, so a lot of people hang out in Vegas. He does a lot of good shit. So there you go. There's a shameless plug, Rick. I'll send you a bill.
I've probably been to Vegas no less than 10 times in my life.
Okay.
I haven't been since COVID, so
yeah,
you need to get back out there.
Okay. Well, I got a spare bedroom, so save you the hotel fees or any of that. But at a minimum, yeah, if you get out here, we definitely are gonna do lunch or something. So that would be cool. And maybe we'll go get matching tattoos. It'd be cool like that. Whatever. No,
One of the times I was in Vegas, so a friend of mine, Matt Fox, he's a sound guy. When you go to concerts, he's the one running the soundboard. He's done it for 25 plus years and toured with 100 plus bands. Okay. He was actually in Vegas for a few years doing the Blue Man Group.
Oh, wow.
And so one of the times, I went out there and hung out with Matt. And but you were asking about memorabilia, so I reached out to Matt if he had anything to share. He, like a lot of us, has his own things that he's going through, and he sent me a box of crew swag, like that the bands give the crew members.
Right.
So I'll have a bunch of that from Matt too. You know, stuff from Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg and Pink and Blink-182 and just various bands that he's been out with.
Right on.
I sent a lot of stuff that you won't see on your normal auction site because it's only crew members. So there's all kind of surprises coming up.
Wow, that's cool. Very cool. All right. Well, excellent. I appreciate all of that. And you got anything else for us before we get to wrapping things up here?
No, the only thing I want to leave everybody with is, the other part of this purpose is, like Corey Taylor says, silence is not strength. Right. And that's the second part of this title is Unite Against the Silence. I for one, as I said, didn't have a lot of opportunities to reach out to organizations, and silence just continues to build and build and build and build, and eventually bad things come. So please, there are organizations out there now. Reach out. There are people you can talk to. As you said, therapists have their place, and I have nothing against them, but sometimes you want to talk to someone who's been there and done that. Sure. And break the stigma. You guys, we got to break the stigma that, suck it up stigma, don't be a wuss stigma. I heard that from officers on my own department. And that sticks with you. Because there's a stigma in police, there's a stigma in military, or in firefighting that, suck it up, be the tough guy. Sometimes you just can't suck it up. Your body doesn't allow it. And, a lot of that got to me back in the beginning. And just don't listen. Break the silence. That's the message I want to get out. And that's the message I'm going to get out at incarceration. That's the message I'm going to get out during this auction. We've got to break the silence in order to get healing started.
Yes.
So.
Right on. Well, I appreciate the hell out of that and you and all that's going on. And if you are paying attention and watching this either live or catching it afterwards, get on my shit, and I will be posting the hell out of all of this stuff here, certainly for the next couple weeks. Probably already have been blowing up your feeds and you're sick and tired of watching me. But if you would do a solid and share with your friends and follow and push buttons, and if I see a little eyeball in the side corner that says like McDonald's, like billions and billions served, then I'll stop bothering you. But until that point, I think I need to keep carrying the message. Anyway, with times and dates with the stuff coming up with this auction and all that kind of stuff. And again, James, I appreciate the hell out of you taking time out of your busy hay baling day and your Alabama and the tractor, whatever you're doing. And this is great. And I'm going to threaten you with a repeat, like after these next several weeks get done and all that kind of stuff, and there's a wind down. Um, I'm gonna invite you back here again, and we can kind of diffuse that and maybe just talk about what's the next phase or whatever that is. Because I appreciate it. I feel like you're on a mission, whether you know it or not. The universe is going to abuse you for a while in a good way. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I want to thank you for being here, everybody. And if you can hang on the phone for just a minute or two, James, after I shut all this down, I'd appreciate that as well. For you guys that are watching, again, appreciate you guys showing up, all the comments in the box,
Talk about your coin.
all the love.
Your coin.
Yeah. Talk about my coin on the next show. My coach and my biggest fan back there. Yeah. If you show up, yeah, I'll just throw it out because she said so. So I better do that. If you show up at incarceration and go by the Taylor booth, you may or may not see James, depending on the day or time or any of that kind of stuff. But here's my gig, just so we're building the community. Take a selfie and ship it to me and with your address that you were there, and I will send you a zero fucks given coin. How about that? So you get some swag, and if you get close enough and say Walker sent you, that's even better, so that we all know that we're all paying attention to each other. All right, so that's that piece. And so with that being said, we are going to shut her down for today. And everybody, every day at noon, Real Talk with Keith motherfucking Walker. James Niggemeyer here in the house. Excellent episode. And we will catch you all tomorrow. All right. Goodbye, Facebook. Don't mind me, James, as I kick everybody out of the room. YouTube, you're gone. All right. And that one.